Sure, but they're not retarded by black people. But black people are retarded by the white supremacists. It's two different things. It's a power position. Who has the most power? Who has the power one over the other? That's what white supremacy means. There's no such thing as black supremacy anywhere in the known universe. You can't have black supremacy and white supremacy in the same universe at the same time. Now, so that raises the question, well, should you have black supremacy? I say, in order to do what? The same thing that white people are doing? Mistreating people on the basis of color? That doesn't seem logical to me. If we believe in that, we might as well keep what we got. Because we'll just have, an endless war. That's what that really means. And I'm not asking for a world of endless war, a war that does not end. The white supremacists kind of like that type of thinking. And they really do. They like conflict. They invent conflict when there is none and teach other people to get some conflict going. That's why they like boxing matches, match of any kind, football, conflict, in opposition, being in opposition to somebody else all the time. Never in agreement on nothing for very long, except we're going to shake hands like people shake hands in the mafia. Backslapping, handshaking, and then somebody gets a hit in the next 30 minutes, right after the handshaking and the backslapping is over. Same people who were doing all that hugging and kissing, slaughtering each other. Mm-hmm. That's the model of the system of white supremacy.
Greetings, everyone. That was Neely Fuller Jr. I would suggest and encourage everyone to please go to producejustice.com to secure your copy of the code book. So we all may work to produce a system-based justice, guaranteeing no one is allowed to be mistreated and those who need help receive constructive help. We are concluding today our study on chapter 4 from the book Race Code War by Kyrie and Harrow. And we are covering the final pages of chapter 4 being 214 to 234. Let me get, alrighty. And I played that clip because what Neely Fuller mentions about just the white supremacist, racist man and racist woman just being so dedicated to opposition and just mistreatment and just conflict. That is what we see in Area 3 entertainment, these movies and television programs that we have been trained to spend a lot of time with. And we also see, well, what we've been learning from this text is that these televisions and these movies are very, very powerful. And I really appreciate, my apologies, my book is all over the place. So anywho, so on page 214, actually, no, go ahead, Ms. B. Go ahead, Ms. B.
Hello, hi everyone. So we're starting off with Black Men and Monsters, which I would say black males, but he has black men. The moguls in the entertainment industry have fostered the belief that television and movies are harmless forms of wonderful amusement. Nothing could be further from the truth. Movies and television contain some of the most sophisticated propaganda ever devised to manipulate and influence masses of unsuspecting people. When powerful political or economic forces want to influence mass behavior, and social attitudes. They use the medium of television and film. No one escapes the power of message. You have anything to say about that? You want me to continue?
Continue, please.
Okay. Movies and television shows are replayed countless times in many formats, from the big and little screen to cable, closed circuit, pay-per-view, video cassettes, CD-ROM, DVD, and foreign markets. Sooner or later, everyone will see the message. The scripts from movies and television frequently rewrite history, reinterpret existing social conditions, or give clues as to what is planned for the future. That's what I have highlighted. Where he has moguls, I would put white people. I guess he doesn't want to keep putting white people over and over again. And yeah, and you will hear me say quite often, we are trained and conditioned and programmed. And this is why what I just read. This is what I'm saying. But this is what I'm talking about. You have anything to say?
Yes, ma'am, I do. I thought the second paragraph was very significant, and it just shows just the power of entertainment, or just by the extension, the power of just white power. Because TV and movies, they do have like the ability to just totally confuse a person, to have them believe that certain historical events didn't happen or did happen or happened in a certain way, like because of TV. A lot of people believe so-called Egyptians were so-called were people classified as white, and because of cinema is so powerful, they have films like Abraham Lincoln versus vampires, and these are just insane concepts, have a I'm sure have a negative effect on young minds who may be exposed to this sort of these wacky concepts and just be even more confused. And yeah, it's very much 1984. White people do have the ability to totally reshape history. At some point in time, if they want, the culprits of like, for example, 9/11. If they want to change who are the culprits of 9/11, they have the ability to do that any point in time that they want to. All very, very, very telling of how the system works. And I also had a lot of points highlighted. I thought this part was also significant from 216, and I think it also echoes to what I was attempting to explain. So it's Kyrie Hill says here, what is missing are important historical epics that bring to the big screen the role of Black people in ancient Ethiopia, Egypt, Spain, ruled for 700 years by the Moors, the huge empire of the mighty Songhai, the founding of North and South America, ancient Europe, China, India, and Australia. There are hundreds of movies that depict European history, such as The Ten Commandments and Braveheart. The list is endless. The majority of these movies convey very positive and successful aspects of the history of white people. These movies are extremely effective in informing millions of people about Western history. Sadly, movies such as New Jack City, Boys in the Hood, Men of Society, On Any Given Sunday, The Green Mile, and The Crumbs do very little to improve the image of Black people. Yet these kinds of movies are always going to be a demand in the motion picture industry. These movies maintain a racial imaging and derogatory depictions of Black people. Motion pictures like Die, Dark Man Die, Alien Resurrection, Spawn, Godzilla, and Mighty Joe Young, Signs, Minority Report, etc., play on the fears of the dark menace by associating the idea of the monster with the perceived image and characteristics of Black males. Is this the reason why so many movie monsters have dark or Black complexions? Many of the most popular movie monsters have the same physical characteristics. They are dark or Black, have long nostrils, thick lips, nappy to kinky hair, broad noses. The following chart exemplifies this. And there's he just lists a ton of popular monsters. I'm just gonna name some popular ones: the Gremlins, the Predators, Werewolf, King Kong, Godzilla, and Alien. So I mentioned this because I was exposed to this concept, Dark Man. I remember watching this as a very young victim. I was like, why is this movie called Dark Man? And the first Dark Man, I'm actually going to bring it up on the screen. It's just such I now understand a huge staple in the system of racial white supremacy, because Dark Man, the original one, not the third one, which is I think Dark Man Die, which is basically can't be decoded as die, black male die, die nigger die. Anywho, it was a motion picture that was released in the system of white supremacy. Anyway, the original Dark Man, which it's about actually it stars a pale person by the name of Liam Neeson, who becomes horribly disfigured, and then he develops like this technology that allows him to like make masks out of anyone's face. It's very, very odd, but he's throughout he's wearing like dark colors, and he's like in the criminal so-called criminal underbelly, taking out mobsters and whatnot. It's like Batman basically. It's literally like Batman. He's doing vigilante work, except that he's disfigured. But he's called Dark Man for some reason. But he's a pale person, so it's just bizarre. It's directed by Sam Raimi. It's the same person who put in all the color coded messages with Spider-Man 3 and the Venom suit. And Liam Neeson, who wanted to who stated saying that something along the lines of him wanting to drive around and find a black person to harm, because one of his friends was allegedly assaulted by a black person, allegedly. So Liam Neeson, highly up there on the list of suspected racists. Yeah, so despite this movie has been produced and created, and this also ton of movies like that. There's Dark Man, and guess what? There's also a Shadow Man movie. There's a Shadow Man video game too, which is super racist. I'm just gonna show you the Shadow Man video game, which is super. You can look at it and just see how it's just in your face. But there's also a movie. It just goes to show you how they color code these things, and it's just so in your face. And it just goes to show when I didn't know about the system of racism and white supremacy, I'm watching Dark Man, not seeing the racism in my face. But now that I get that we're in a system, it's very obvious what they're doing. And the Gremlins, when we actually did a decoding of that recently. You can find it on the channel. But I did notice that the Gremlins had kinky hair, and I did notice that their nostrils were like very I just noticed their nostrils were similar to some non-white people. Maybe some non-white people who may be called Asian or yellow, some even black people. But I noticed that being there. So I'm like, wow. Ms. B, would you like to chime in?
So, well, what I read earlier about the reinterpretation existing social condition, this is why some non-white people, white people programmed us, and when white people portray us in a negative light, no, not scratch that, not negative light, but in a negative way. Some non-white people, they use that narrative, and they're like, oh, y'all are just drug dealers or gangbangers and this, that, and the other, and that's how white people portray us on TV. But notice how white people portray non-white people who are doing criminal activities like Billions, Soprano, Breaking Bad, Lucifer, different shows like that. First of all, you give them sympathy. You're extremely sympathetic to the character, and they're shown as thinkers, as opposed to when white people portray non-white people on TV. That's all my notes for now.
Thank you. Yeah, this is just and also white people, just all the movies mentioned, like New Jack City, any given Sunday, and all the ones not mentioned, like South Central, Fresh. I remember watching this movie called Fresh. Let me see if I could make sure I'm not just totally insane. Maybe I'm just make sure I'm not making it up. But I remember this movie called Fresh. And I kid you not, this movie is about a black male child who is having to like sell drugs and get in all these incorrect situations. Yeah, here it is. Let me actually yeah, I remember just watching this. Was always playing on cable television, and I'm like, what is this? I couldn't be an error, but I do believe like he gets beat at the end, or maybe even dies at the end. But yeah, and this movie just popped into my mind.
No, he doesn't die at the end. What happened is they show him kind of out slicking or outsmarting the system or whatever, and getting him and his sister into foster care or into some type of housing or something.
Oh, okay. That's somewhat yeah, it's way more constructive than him dying. So yeah, but yeah, so I was in error. But I remember this movie. Yeah, not presenting the best images of black people
Oh
for
no. Oh no, most definitely. It's prostitutes and drug dealers and pimps and all that type of stuff. No, of course not.
Yeah, greetings, Yahoo and Mr. Williams. Yeah. So yeah, and I mentioned these films because white people always have like a catalog of images that they can just say, yeah, you guys are really like that. Aren't you guys really like the people in New Jack City? Aren't you guys really like this? And these images just really just serve to just support the racist thinking and probably the incorrect self-hate thinking that we have been plagued with as well. So just these images are so deadly, and because we've been programmed to spend so much of our time in this area of entertainment, then I can only just imagine like the actual effects this is having. Because I'm not like expert on this matter. I'm not white, so I don't really know.
I want to read the second paragraph on page 215, if that's okay.
Oh, please do.
Okay, another example of this is the way tobacco companies use the motion picture industry to influence young people to smoke cigarettes. In the last few years, there has been a slew of motion pictures that feature major actors and actresses smoking cigarettes. Notwithstanding the scandal, the congressional hearings, legal cases, and dire health warning about cigarette smoking, the movie moguls in Hollywood still produce movies that openly and unshamedly promote the consumption of such a deadly product. The reason for this is quite simple. And the reason why I wanted to read that passage, because there's a movie called Thank You for Not Smoking. I suggest non-white people to watch this movie. It's extremely informative. Even though it's not a true story, it's extremely informative about the how they place cigarettes in movies and as advertisement to influence us to smoke, which they know that it's poisonous. So yes, Thank You for Not Smoking, movie suggested.
Yeah, I do remember that one. So I think I wanted to mention I do appreciate the number of decodings he has in this. I'm going to read the Darkman decoding and the Spawn because I think they're constructive, and I'll share some thoughts on that. So from 218, the title of the movie "Die Darkman Die" is also troublesome. The title sends a very stark message, no matter how much the movie tries to portray Darkman as some kind of hero. What if the picture were entitled Die White Man Die or Die Light Man Die? The public will then be a little more curious as to the real meaning of the title. The movie Die Darkman Die was advertised over and over again on mainstream television. During the advertising period, not a word of social protest regarding the title of this movie was ever heard. In the summer of 1998, okay, So that's the part I wanted to mention. So just that's just so interesting. You have millions of television sets broadcasting this movie with this title, Die, Dark Man Die. It's so sick. And it's so insane, but hey, I'm actually put the image on the screen because it happened. Maybe we actually play the title. I'm actually gonna play the trailer. Because yeah, maybe there's something in it we can learn from it, to show that we're not just a bunch of black people talking nonsense, lying. Kyrie and Harold is not doing that either.
I've never heard of this movie, but I must check it out.
The deal.
I believe I can repair your nervous system.
It's impossible. It's never been done. The double cross. What did you do to me?
I reconnected your thalamic nerve, all right. Reconnected it to this.
And the deadly mistake.
Waste the freak, please.
Now I've got you.
What the?
So it's true.
I'm sorry. This looks stupid as hell. Miss B, do you mind if we don't finish? Like, I don't think we should. I don't want to finish it. Do you think we should finish it?
No, sir. It looks like a movie, a B movie.
Yeah, it's like
To the nth degree.
yeah.
Oh heck no.
Yeah.
No. I changed my mind. I don't need to see it. Title's enough.
Yeah, title enough. The title is probably the only selling point of this movie. It's probably why it probably made as much as it did having that title. All right, continuing. Okay, so this movie, Darkman, the Darkman saga, created by Sam Raimi and other white people. It's for some reason it's related to Spawn as well. So I'm gonna read this bit about Spawn on 219 and attempt to tie it all together. So it says, as a matter of record, there is a huge selling book entitled Monster about. Should I? Let me see if I should go up a little for more context. Okay, no. So again, from 219. Why is Spawn imaged as a disfigured and disformed creature? Why is he killed and cast down into hell with a dark Satan? His sidekick in hell is an extremely treacherous doo-doo smelling vermin. Back on Earth, Spawn's best buddy is a white male who betrays him and marries his black wife, and they have an interracial child. This would never happen to a white superhero like Superman. So Spawn is this movie definitely traumatized me growing up. Seeing a black male, get burned and then just get betrayed by every single person. I should have known that this movie was teaching me about the system of white supremacy, but tragically, when we were consuming this information, we do not have that in our brain computers. So let me get that image on the screen as well. When it came out. Yeah, so why is this black male burned, and also Darkman, who's coded as a black male, he's also burned. And I'm like, oh, it's just maybe just a gross nature of the system of white supremacy, just having its subjects and all the wacky concepts they create just being super incorrect. And Spawn is just that name, Spawn. It's like a creature. It's like something like a spawn of Satan. I've heard that. when I rarely hear the word spawn, but when I do, it's often Spawn of Satan, something like that. So even the characters that are like black, so-called black superheroes that we're supposed to like, look up to, whatever, are coded to be, weird little abominations, like creatures. And do you remember his partner being like a white clown? Let's see, let me get his white clown guy creature. Just super weird. Yeah, and I don't know. I should not have even been watching this garbage. I should not have been exposed to this nonsense. But that's what the system does. Yeah, no one should be exposed to like Marvel, DC, any of this white concept. We should be exposed to, hey, we're in a system of white supremacy. We should be serious about solving this, because there's hundreds of videos about the lore of Spawn, the lore of Superman, the lore of everything, but not how to solve this race problem, or not that, or that we should be working to solve the race problem. Anywho, I digress a bit. See if they're doing a remake of Spawn. Greetings, Miss Johnson. Of course, they're doing a remake. Nothing is new in the system. They're going to regurgitate all of this nonsense till infinity, which is why we should be highly motivated to solve this problem. Oh, and Mighty Joe Young keeps getting mentioned. I don't know what this character is. Maybe some of the folks listening do, but let me see. Oh, wow. Yeah, I get it now. Okay, so see, like the less confused you are, just the code is easier to decipher. You don't have to spend too much time on it. Greetings, Silvus Lender. All right, I'm just gonna continue on with my notes. Another movie that I watched, and I didn't even see the value in it. I didn't know. It was Jackie Brown. I just remember a black female being mistreated and bossed around. But his decoding of it is super way more constructive than my pitiful thoughts when I watched that film. So let me go ahead. Jackie Brown. All right, so this is from page 220. Films like Jackie Brown and Midnight and the Garden of Good and Evil also depict black males and females in less than glittering images. Every black individual character in the movie Midnight and the Garden of Evil, from the stinky voodoo woman and the older man walking an invisible dog to the transvestite, is the worst kind of racial image and depiction ever shown on a movie screen. Even the scenes about American high society, the young black males and females are trash. They are called whores and sluts by the transvestite stripper. All right. Before I read Jackie Brown part, I've never seen this film he just mentioned. So let me see, because yeah, this sounds atrocious. Ms. B, are you familiar with this film, Midnight and Garden of?
I've never watched the film. I've heard of it. I've never watched it.
Let's see if we can see if we can see a quick trailer. We probably won't finish the trailer, but yeah, let's see when this movie come out. Oh, what? This looks like a movie with white people.
Welcome to Savannah.
You walking the dog, Mr. Glover?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my land, where are my manners? What can I get you to drink?
Town and Country flew me down to write a 500-word story on a Christmas party.
Not just any party.
Hi.
All right, yeah, probably another one we don't need to spend too much time on. But I'll just take Kyrie and Harold's words for it. If the movie is promoting anti-sex and just showing black males and black females in conflict with each other, yes, it's already very damaging for the collective and motivates us to remain in conflict with each other and not unite with a code to solve this race problem. All right, but continuing, before I continue, Sivas mentioned Doctor Strangelove, and I will say that is an excellent film to study the Yurugu, the Yurugu mind, racist man, racist woman, and just what they're all about. All right, but continuing from 220. In Jackie Brown, there are 3 major black male characters. 2 of the characters are drugs and weapon dealers, and the third is a big, inarticulate man-child. All 3 of the males are untrustworthy, violent, childlike, really stupid, and subservient. The Jackie Brown Pam Grier character is a black female who can no longer be trusted, at least not by a black male. The major black male character, Odell Robbie, played by Samuel Jackson, uses the word nigger regularly in open conversation with the white characters as if the word is standard English used routinely by white people. It's worth noting, however, that none of the white characters in the movie ever uses the word nigger. In the end, Jackie Brown sets up the lecherous Odell Robbie to accomplish this. She entrusts 2 white male policemen to help her entrap the black male. Her closest ally is the white bail bondsman who appears to fall in love with her. She eventually builds a trusting and almost loving relationship with the kind, understanding, faithful, and smart white bail bondsman. Movies are extremely powerful imaging devices and must be controlled. Is it? Don't get me wrong, but is this directed by Quentin Tarantino? Wow, it is. Wow, Quentin Tarantino loves he loves hating and terrorizing and creating and making just making mocking black males because we have these black males being just super brain trash in this film, and we have black males in other films getting their brains blown out and also brain trash. So Quentin Tarantino has a long track record of just being super up there on the suspected racist white supremacist list, probably certifiably a white supremacist, but I'm not a white person, so I can't confirm.
I find his films to be tacky, trashy, and terroristic.
Same. I agree. Jeez, I remember watching this movie. Like, what's the point of this movie? Nothing constructive is happening. Even when I was young, when I was younger watching this film, like nothing is good is happening. Like just And then I remember the white male. He what's this guy? Robert De Niro character just kept randomly having to kill people, but like that's just a Yurugu. That's just what it means to be white. Just watch any true crime YouTube channel, and you can just this is what they really be doing. That's jump at the drop of a hat. Ending other creatures' existences, people or non-people. And Mr. Yahoo says, in the movie, the devil needed a black male spawn to lead his armies of demons on Earth. Interesting. Wow. Yeah, and just that short combination of words, that's already saying a lot, just man, that goes to show why in 2022 we still have a number of white supremacists, well, at least white people who call themselves white supremacists, who refer to President Obama, well, former President Obama, as the Antichrist. I'm sure. Has anyone heard this, Ms. B? Have you heard white people refer to Obama as the Antichrist, something like that? Or anyone in the chat? I've heard this in number various so-called Christian broadcasts or podcasts or whatever. It's just so common, but it just goes to show in the racist thinking, in a racist mind, Satan, devil, black, non-white person, all same thing in them.
But it's all projection, right? It's all the white people like to project.
Yep. Because at the same time they're like projecting us to be Satan, they creating like anagrams for a white person who's supposed to be. It's just really It's just doing a lot. I hope where I was going, you were able to tell where that was going to lead, but okay. Continuing with my notes, let me see what film was mentioned next. Oh yeah, I will use this moment to encourage everyone to get their copy of Race Code War, because there's a ton of films that he recommends and documentaries that he recommends that we probably won't be able to mention all of them. And just like all the race code words he mentioned earlier, we weren't able to cover all of them, nor can we cover every single topic or concept he goes over. So I would implore everyone to get their copy of Race Code War, any Black bookstore if available, if not wherever you can. But continuing. All right, and we're getting into how blackmail and monsters and film, how that's often also been very sexualized, and where they will create scenes where it'll look like the monster is like, you know, raping the victim, the female. And if you watch our Gremlins decoding, you will see that because we definitely cover that in detail, because we saw a lot of that in the Gremlins saga. Anyway, so this one from page 222, and it says, at the heart of the King Kong creation is the belief that Black males are rapists and sexual molesters. If given a chance, they will use their oversized genitals to impregnate white females. This movie reinforces the belief that Black males are a constant threat to rape white women and thus dilute the white genetic pool. This also showcases another side of racist perversion, which is the fascination of many races with watching Black males have sex with white females. In a racist mind, it is the same thing as watching an ape or a wild beast have sex with his woman. This phenomenon rise of animal sex is tied to the phenomenal rise of animal sex is tied to this kind of racist perversion. The King Kong character plays on this very bizarre desire, the image of a well-hung ape copulating with a virgin white female. This is a strong reference in racial code to bestiality. Another thing that is very common, we covered in our grimace decoding, was bestiality. And I'm just gonna show you better than I can tell you white people's really incorrect relationships. I was just saving this for rips, but maybe because of my illness, I'm just gonna show it now, and it ties into it. Bestiality, it's in our face. You know, we just need to pay attention. We just need to pay attention. Oh, awesome. It is right here. I didn't have to spend that much time looking for it. All right. So you know, this is your normal Yoruba behavior, normal white behavior right here.
They will want to lick inside your mouth. This is perfectly normal for them, and this is what they do to one another on a daily basis. If you can tolerate it, you should allow this, as they will trust you more and can learn everything about you. The men, as men naturally exhibit heavier movements, have a taller stature and a deeper voice.
All right, so I don't know. I maybe I'm just, you know, maybe I'm just a silly non-white person who, like, you know, you think things like I shouldn't be you know, kissing dogs or whatever. But I think this is incorrect. I think this is very, very bizarre, kind of gross. Not kind of gross, but gross. Yeah, I'm just gonna read it again. This is a strong reference and racial code to bestiality. Saw it in Gremlins. We saw it in Gremlins, and I'm pretty sure if I did some thinking, I could see that trope of, hey, it's a joke, you know, we were laughing about it, but hey, it's a white man or it's a white person and they're like involved with some sort of like cartoon character or alien creature or whatever. It's a code for bestiality. It's what they're about. It's what the culture of white supremacy is. It's all sorts of debauchery and bestiality, rape. That's
There was a movie back in the day called Howard the Duck, and it was about a duck and a white woman getting together. This is horrible.
and I believe that is a Marvel film as well, a Marvel comic concept. So it's their bread and butter. Debauchery is their bread and butter. Bread and butter meaning what they do.
And notice the lead character, the white woman. Yeah, her hair is dirty blonde, but it's still blonde. Yeah, she's a dirty blonde. Interesting.
Yeah, interesting indeed. As I said, they show us. We just have to pay attention on white collective and unify around a counter racist codes. Saw this problem in about 4 weeks, give or take, with an effective number of non-white people practicing code. All right, let me see. What's the next one was? All right, I do have this highlighted. Let me see. Let me give it a read. Okay, yeah. I think this is actually maybe the last bit of my notes. Other than that, we're just gonna maybe go over some of his recommendations. Let me see. I don't want to. Okay, I am gonna actually read 2 more times, and then we're gonna get into his recommendations and his suggestions for films to decode. So this is from 225. The message says that the white woman is so valuable that no non-white woman can compare or even come close to her level of value, superiority, and greatness. Under the basic concept of white supremacy, the white woman is the most valued, beautiful, and desirable, and is the highest stage of womanhood. She is the queen, the embodiment of goodness and motherhood. In racist lore, the Black woman is inferior, loudmouth, a bitch, non-feminine, and a prostitute. So long as these kinds of hardcore racial images exist, Black females can never be equal to white female. This low grading devaluation of the Black woman, especially dark-skinned Black women, is part of the racist desire to degrade her, and at the same time, his desire to have sex with Black females in a dark, notice the word dark again, alley. The racist does not value the Black female as anything more than a whore. He will sneak around, have sex on the workplace, desktop, or solicit Black females who have sex on the corner or in the dark of the night. This desire to have sex with Black females is a part of the sexual rights of manhood for many white males. There is a belief among them that they are not real men unless they have sex with a Black woman who is, according to racist sexual lore, a wild, sex crazed animal. This is the third book I've heard this aspect of the racist mind being commented on, about how they that need to rape a Black female, because I let it be known, I'm not confused about it. Whenever a white person is in so-called having sex with a non-white person, that's not sex, that's rape. It's the white person raping a non-white person, because the power dynamics, white people come from a powerful position because they are in a system of race and white supremacy, just like us, but we're the subjects in that system. We're the targets. So, we should not be in the bedroom with the people who are allowing us to be targeted and mistreated, just as I'm making sense. It's very incorrect. So that's rape. It started before the plantation, and it's only gotten worse. They made it look more pleasant, but it's grotesque. Shouldn't be happening. And non-white people heed these comments. just take, it is what take it for being what it is. White people, not all white people, but the white people who believe in the practice of racist white supremacy, they have been successfully trained and conditioned to view us in a incorrect manner. So we have to be very serious about how we go about interacting with them, and that can't happen if we're like having sex with them or like thinking that they're our friends or allies or brothers and sisters. No, nope, they're suspected racists, and some of them can't help us, should help us. um that's that, but please take.
That's something that we have. That's something that we have control over. We have control over our bodies in the sense that we don't have to sleep with them. So please, non-white people, please, black people, don't sleep with white people.
This is a message brought to you by Attempted Counter Racism. Please go to producejustice.com, counterracism.com, blacktalkradio.com. Listen to some context of white supremacy.
I want to read a little bit of page 227. Okay, what is that? This is where the trap is set. Any color-based words such as white, black, dark, or light must be carefully understood when it is used in a motion picture. This is because it is the modern way to get in a race message without being exposed. And that's extremely important. We have to be careful of the sayings. We have a lot of sayings like monkey wrench or blacklist, etc. Other words that have been mentioned earlier from this book. And yeah, I'm in the process of unlearning and deprogramming myself and being very careful in the words that I use.
Yeah, that what it means to be still learning, to be improving our thought, speech, and action. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, just to hammer in that just to hammer in, this is from 226. The white supremacist wants to portray black men and women as sub-animal sexual freaks and hot bitches, and will use many venues to achieve that goal. The capture, enslavement, and display of Kong decoded means the capture of black slaves and their transport to the New World. Black people were similarly captured, enslaved, and sold or put on display. The placing of Kong in the bottom of a huge ship to transport him from a mythical racist African setting is the same as putting slaves in the holds of the old coffin vessels. Kong's futile attempt to fight the racists by climbing up the tallest building in New York City represents his attempt to attack the power of white supremacy as symbolized by the male phallus. It is interesting that he is finally slain atop the then tallest white building in the world, the Empire State Building. This symbolizes Kong's failed attempt to overtake the white male by destroying his ability to reproduce white children. The white male phallus represents the sperm and germ cell of white civilization, and the racist symbolic sense Kong wants to control of white society and white females, and therefore it has to be destroyed. Again, the threat of the Dark Menace rears its head. The King Kong characters are among the many racial symbols designed to depict black males and females in a derogatory manner. And just these two paragraphs, we have like just aspects of like Dr. Ramyani's Yurugu, Dr. Francis Wilson's The ISIS Papers, and just please everyone, listen, get your hands on those books, listen to some book studies on that book. We have 2 book studies on the ISIS Papers and one on Yurugu, and the Cows Context of White Supremacy also has a number of interviews with Dr. Francis Wilson, and they have a Yurugu book study as well. So we have to just understand that the people who call us their enemy, we have to understand them, or else we will remain confused. So I just appreciate these 2 paragraphs because wow, King Kong, I've always thought King Kong was pretty boring. I didn't really care for it. Even the Peter Jackson one was meh. I played a video game, but just hearing Kyrie and Harold's decoding of it was like, wow, they really packed a lot of racist lore into this concept of King Kong. And just I don't know if I read that part, but just his name, King Kong, King Dong, just white people's just fascination with like phalluses and non-white phalluses. It's just all very bizarre. But if you understand white culture, you know exactly why that is, because anti-sex is just in their culture, in their nature, and it's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with that at all, as long as it's stays within white culture and it's not attempted to be promoted against non-white people, as it's done and is being done to our detriment, of course. So he has another paragraph, or not paragraph, another section that's titled "What Must Be Done to Address Racial Images in the Movies." I would say a system of justice will be the best approach, but prior to getting there, we need non-white people to just understand that whenever they're watching just the Proud Family, or what's the new one called? I'm just gonna break it down for folks, because they're really they're really clowning on us. Proud Family, so what's it called? Louder and Prouder. Yeah, just here it is. Whenever we're watching something like this, whenever we're watching any sort of television program, especially from Disney, these very, very wicked, vile, suspected racists. The Proud Family, even the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. Of course, non-white people will have to be loud and belligerent and silly, but prouder. What are they proud for? The family are still victims of racism. The black male still. I'm sure the butt of most of the jokes. I'm not familiar with this show, but I think I know my system pretty well, and I'm sure folks who have seen this show will agree that the black male is mistreated quite often in this show. Anywho, they're clowning us. Black people have nothing to be proud of. You shouldn't be proud for something that you didn't determine. I don't think any of us chose to be black, and if we did, we don't have any recollection of that decision. I'm quite certain. And black people should not be loud. We should be, mostly quiet and thinking about solving problems or thinking constructive thoughts, but we should not be loud and producing more noise. The system already produces a lot of noise, but this is just how the system promotes confusion and insanity while presenting it to be something, black culture. It's a black culture, 50 years from now, and this is going to be played during Black History Month. But yeah, this is just how smart they are.
I've heard of it, but just looking at the imagery, look at the non-white black female with the blonde hair. This is interesting.
Oh wow, yes, it's so in my face. I'm just missing it. Yeah, it's very, very tragic, but they know what they've done to us. They know how silly they made us to present ourselves, and then but it's our culture, black culture.
I see a white woman in the picture. Look like she could possibly be a friend or a teacher. I've never seen it, so I don't know, but very interesting, the imagery.
So yeah, so we have to know, what must be done to address racial images in movies, and I would just bullet point add to that in TV and in video games and everything is understand what we're looking at, because as a victim who plays video games, I notice everything. I notice all the anti-sex characters they put in there who happen to always be non-white. I just noticed the really aggressive female black characters that they put in there. I noticed everything, and so perhaps it doesn't damage me enough, or I can produce content to share that content and maybe help folks with the confusion. But if we're just watching this stuff and sharing this, and we're saying that Proud Penny, these are like constructive characters, these are our characters. Yeah, but non-white people, and white people in general, we've just been trained to be so silly that this is kind of stuff we get tattooed on us. But we gotta pay attention to what we're watching, And I'm just gonna read
Need to
one
be more
final
mindful.
one final bit, and then that'll be it for my notes with this part. This part. Where do I want to read? Okay, a racist can use many things to trigger racist reactions, thoughts, and behaviors. For example, a white actress could make a racial reference by talking about a big snowfall in a movie with the line, "Look at the beautiful white stuff falling from the sky." The falling snow might be beautiful, however, this line can often does contain a double or a hidden color or racial meaning, or a black actor could remark, "Oh, those bananas are so dark." And if there is no other reference to race in the movie, bet your bottom dollar that this statement is a racial color code message. The bananas are so dark statement is a message about black sexuality. So it just shows you how subtle it can be, you know. So up to us to pay very close attention, because white people are masters at being cool, calm, and collective, at paying attention, and yeah, they don't miss a thing when they're really paying attention and trying to decode these movies, because yeah, they've been trained how the system works. We've been trained how to be confused about it and how to be victims. So yeah, we're coming at it from a different angle, tragically.
A suggestion to non-white people: also look at who writes these films, cartoons, etc. Very telling.
Yep. Yep.
If we're going to watch movies and TV shows, we should watch them to decode them, to understand them. Let's stop trying to just be entertained all the time, because in the end, the joke is on us. I don't care how so-called positive it might appear, the program might appear, or whatever. Oh, they have a black lead character, or whatever. In the end, if you really, really look and pay attention, you will see that they're clowning us. White people are clowning us. They stay clowning us.
Thank you. Alrighty.
Oh, and white people are not ignorant. Do you want to bring up the thing about bikini? Did you watch the video on how bikinis came
No,
out?
I can't paraphrase. I can't do that video just in my current state.
Okay. Well, watch out for the breakdown of bikini in a later episode.
We talking about Bikini Bottom and SpongeBob, right?
That and how white people, they created that show, right? And then the making of the bikini and what white people did to the Malaysian people. I think it is Malaysia, aka non-white people.
Oh yeah. Non-white people should non-white people should most certainly invest. I think it's called the Bikini Accord. I could be in error, but the Bikini Accord, and white people just slaughtering and mistreating non-white people, and how SpongeBob is the location of SpongeBob is related to a massacre site of non-white people.
Correct.
Did not do please do your research on that, because I did not do it just in explanation. But SpongeBob, now because we're on it, SpongeBob in itself has become so wow. This character, I'm just gonna put him on the screen, and then we're gonna get into Kyrie and Harold's suggested films. This character, he has become just famous worldwide, and he's famous but not only by just regular suspected racists, but white people who admit it racist. And I actually don't even have the the mental capacity to decode this character, other than that this is a white person who has like ultimate white power. If you watch SpongeBob, this creature here can literally control the laws of physics, and whatever. He's celebrated for some reason. He's also this whole show has a ton of sexual innuendos, and there's a ton of white people who create really suspicious art involving this character. It could be along to that bestiality thing. Yeah, duh, makes sense. Oh yeah, for sure. This whole Sandy character, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, show's sick, but all things are sick. I used to enjoy this show, but now I just see SpongeBob as a little psychopath, little suspected racist psychopath. But all right, getting into selected Black movies and television series to watch and study. I'm gonna list the ones I had highlighted and maybe some ones that folks maybe have already watched and maybe want to watch again and watch it under the context, well, with the context of white supremacy in your brain computer. Baby Boy, as a movie, I haven't seen it when I was less confused, but I've seen it a number of times. It is not a movie I would ever watch again, even if I'm trying to decode it. I could skip that one for eternity. Antoine Fisher, I haven't seen it in a while. I would watch it to decode it again. Classified X, I would recommend folks watching this one. I'm going to read what he says about it. It's from 229. Classified X. Melvin Van Peebles does an outstanding job in exposing how racial images have been used to degrade and manipulate Black people. Highly recommended. So yeah, it's right on topic of this book, what we've been talking about. Bernie Mac show. This is a show I would give it another watch to attempt to decode it, but he said something interesting about it. He says the Bernie Mac show is a letdown. It has so many flaws that on the surface, many roles are similar to those of the big-eyed darkies, so prevalent in the 20th century films. However, there's a subtle yet effective lesson in the script that says an individual can be Black and function in a white world without losing awareness of self. This series should be studied carefully to understand the modern portrayal of Black images in white settings. And okay. Daughters of the Dusk, we have a decoding of that one. Final Countdown. And then this is very interesting what he says about this one. He says, this movie attempts to address the question of what would happen if the Black community were to engage in a violent and protracted arms war against the white community. That sounds epic. Definitely one I gotta watch. I'm gonna say it again. It's Final Countdown, 1972. Glory. Wow, I remember having to watch this in school. And I remember what was the scene? I'm like, okay, there's a bunch of people marching, one of them beating the drum, and then all these Black people just start getting shot in the head. I'm like, okay, this is grotesque. I'm not digging this at all. But he says, Glory, 1989. This is one of the few films that show the pivotal role of Black soldiers in the Civil War. So, yeah. Liberty Stands Still. Yeah, actually, yeah. Now I'm just gonna list the ones I have highlighted because I'm already saying too many I didn't prepare my mentioning. But I'm gonna pause there and see if Ms. B wants to mention any of the films.
Yeah, I watched Bamboozled. I thought that was really interesting. I would suggest people watch it. Belly, no. I just watched Claudine last year. That was an interesting film. Definitely, I would suggest people to watch it. You know, Nelly Fuller Jr., he has a list of movies, and some of these are on there. Most are not, but yeah, I think it's pretty realistic as far as relationships. Claudine, Do the Right Thing. It's been a long time since I watched that. I think that's another interesting film. Not bad. Deep Cover. Yeah, please watch that. Yeah. You have anything to add?
Oh, and I want to watch Deep Cover. It sounds very interesting.
Oh, Mississippi Masala. Oh, that's a oldie. Look how young he looking this. Yeah, this is old.
Yeah, I've never seen this. This is one I have highlighted. I am gonna read it because yeah, this is actually the second one I highlighted. The one on the first one was Lumumba. This he says I'm gonna read about Lumumba really quickly, but I'm gonna come back to Mississippi Masala, but I'm gonna just give this film portraying. I'm sure it's this Patrice Lumumba portraying him. 2001 film, but this is the first one I had highlighted because yeah. So he says about this film, this is a must-see motion picture that depicts the short but explosive political career of the great Patrice Lumumba. All right, now we can go back to Mississippi Masala, and I'm gonna read this is all from 232. This movie attempts to bridge the gap between Black people here and Black people and dark-skinned people in India. Very few Black people know that there are millions of Black people in India and Pakistan. Here is a broad effort to show that Black people exist all over the world and must begin to see their commonality despite customs and language differences. It is only the major movie to date that has attempted to address this issue. It's 1991 film. Dang, it's been a while since the films come out, and I doubt there hasn't been many more like it, because what the racists do not want is a bunch of non-white people realizing that they're all non-white and victims of racism. You know, exactly. If you're so-called Indian or you're so-called Asian or so-called Nigerian, whatever you want to call yourself, if you are not white, you are a victim of racism, and you, my friend, my bad, not my friend, but you, my fellow victim, you're in a war, and in order to survive war, you gotta become war. So you gotta get serious about that. Become serious about the reality that we are in a war. White people are waging a race war that we were born into. So we gotta do something about it. Or
I mentioned these movies and I didn't read what's up under it. I want to read what's up under it. So Bamboozled, which came out in 2000, effectively deals with how Black people are purposely encouraged and manipulated into playing roles of Black buffoons and racial stereotypes. It also exposes the use of some racial and color code words. And yeah, that's why. This movie. Yeah, I suggest we watch this. Non-white people.
Yep. I used to have this on DVD. I remember watching it the first time. I didn't get it, and then watched it again. I was like, oh, they got betrayed. And then watch it when less confused. Oh, this is racism and white supremacy. What it is and how it works. Yes, indeed.
Very, very deep movie if you really, really study it. But it's definitely, yeah. I highly suggest this movie. Claudine came out in 1974. Like I said, I watched it last year. This movie illustrates how Black families and Black people can pull together despite conflict and solve problems without the assistance or reliance on white people. No, nah. Yeah, I respectfully disagree with that. But I think that we should definitely, as non-white people, should watch it and notice the conflict and notice yeah, it has some life lessons in it. I'll put it like that. That's the best way I could put it. Have you ever seen the movie Claudine?
Have not seen Claudine. Accountful Yahweh says, and forgive me if I'm misspeaking your name, mispronouncing your name. A Dry White Season is a constructive film, in my opinion, that shows racism and white supremacy in apartheid South Africa. Noted. Another one I have listed, a number of ones I have listed that are continuing, is Nothing But a Man. Presents a very moving portrait of the struggle against hardcore racism in the South and the ability of Black men and women to work together to solve their problems in spite of the ugliness of racial domination. This is Malcolm X's favorite film, I've been told and I've heard, and it's also on YouTube. So
I highly suggest that non-white people watch that movie. Yes, it's It's such a realistic portrayal of how things are right now between black males and black females, non-white people. Yes, I highly suggest that movie.
Movie darn 50 years old and it's still relevant 2022. This goes
Yes.
to show you that the problem, still here and still needs to be solved. Rosewood, 1997. This movie raises awareness about the hidden impact of violence and raw racial supremacy. It reveals the existence of Black dominated and relatively self-sufficient cities with independent financial, educational, and housing systems. It shows how white supremacists use any pretext to destroy efforts to build Black independence. Haven't seen it, but I do want to watch it. I think I've had opportunities to, but I was at a thinking that, hey, I don't want to see Black people suffer or I get mistreated, so I didn't watch the film. But now I want to see it because I have the brain computer to decode it and pay attention to the white people, and not just think, oh, that's just a racist, and no, it's much more than that white person is a racist. It's just how it's hard they practicing racism, Sankofa, we decoded that one. He says about this film, this is one of the best motion pictures to address the many historical inaccuracies surrounding the slavers' revolts here and abroad. Alrighty. So that's Sankofa. Sankofa actually, I could be an error. I think Sankofa means to go back and take or something like that. But yeah, it's a very constructive film. Just shows you just how racist men and racist women have a just a science of conditioning us to be various kinds of victims. The house Negro victim, the field Negro victim, and stuff like that. And okay, the School Days, haven't seen it. Let me get it on the screen before I read it this time. School Days. Oh, it's very interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I can't say I've seen this one. I can't recall seeing it. It says the first and only major picture to openly address the color code issue in the Black community. It is very important picture that must be understood. Color code issue. I got keep referring to how non-white people have been trained to just be white identified, meaning that the lighter the skin complexion, the better the treatment, the darker the skin complexion, the more mistreatment one is expected to receive. So-called colorism, but I think it's just another symptom of racism and white supremacy. Has anyone seen this film, School Days?
Yes, I have, unfortunately.
Was it not constructive?
It deals with so-called colorism and not racism, white supremacy. Light skin, dark skin, just bickering at each other. And I really thought that Spike Lee, I thought he understood racism and white supremacy. I heard he has a really good movie on it. I would not suggest this movie, no.
Okay, and okay, 234, the final two films we're going to be reading. The Man, 1972. This is the first movie to pose the question, what if there was a Black president of the United States? What would he do and whom would he serve? Interesting. And let me just put that on the screen. I think it's probably, I'm just guessing this star Morgan Freeman. I'm just guessing because I just may know white people that all that. I'm getting to know white people, so maybe it started Morgan Freeman. Let me see. Or maybe I didn't. Oh, I didn't. Who is this? I don't know. Oh, James Earl Jones, the Darth Vader himself. Interesting. So that's the man. Maybe it could be interesting. And the final film feel like I've heard it in passing, heard it mentioned a number of times, but I haven't seen it. So it's Waiting to Exhale, and he says this movie is one of the more civil attempts to address the critical issue of black male female relationships. At least this movie presents a redeemable black man and holds black women equally accountable for making constructive changes in their lives. So yeah, it's always constructive, black males and black females being motivated to turn their frustrations and perhaps even misery, not against one another, but towards the system of racism and white supremacy. Have you seen Waiting to Exhale, Helen?
Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts on that?
I gotta think about that, but nah, I wouldn't suggest this movie.
Yeah. Are there any movies that he didn't suggest that you would suggest Victims to the Code?
Ooh, I wish I'd known this before we did this. I would have had this. Yeah, we gotta do part 2 because I can't think of something at the moment.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have more broadcasts involving entertainment because it's so popular.
One thing I wanted to do, and I'm not suggesting this movie. I am not suggesting this movie, but I'm going to mention it. Soul Food, 1997. The strength of the Black family to overcome great obstacles is not talked about or portrayed enough. The Showtime series is interesting, though not as perpetuating. Not I can't pronounce this. Perpetuating as the not perpetuating as the movie. I'm not suggesting this movie at all because and Boondocks mentioned it in one of their episodes. I think it's called The Itis, which is really interesting. Check that out. He gives an excellent breakdown of the movie. But I always hear this term Black family, and I want to read from the word guide, from Neely Fuller's word guide with Black family. Black family, do not use this term. Instead, use the terms Black group, Black kin group, close group, kin company, companion kin, etc. Because we do not have Black families under a system of racism, white supremacy. We have attempted Black families, yes, but we don't have Black families. During the existence of white supremacy racism, the white people of the known universe who participate in white supremacy racism are all members of the white family. The white family and the system of white supremacy racism are one and the same. Being a white person and participating in the system of white supremacy racism is the same as being a member of the white family. Yeah. So that's a running theme in quite a few of these films that was listed. And I just wanted to, throw that out there that we don't have Black family.
No, I think thank you for reading that. That's very important. That's something we need to emphasize. I would say 99.9% of like films that we're exposed to present some sort of nonsense that, hey, we're a family, we can protect each other, we're men or women. All of these films present us as being men or women, but yet show us being like super pitiful and super powerless. So, we got to get these ideas out of our head. We have to become codified and be truthful with ourselves. We are not men or women. I'm not nobody's father, not nobody's daddy. I ain't got no mama either.
And each other.
Yeah. So yep. So yeah, we are prisoners of war, and prisoners of war aren't allowed to have families or anything like that. So we gotta, Alrighty. So I guess we can move into closing comments. Would you like to get us started, Miss B?
Everybody read this book. By Ray Code War. That's the best thing I could say. Read this book. I'm not really good at explaining things or whatever, so read this book, and you'll get a better understanding of the system that we're under. And yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you, Ms. B. And I appreciate Ms. Johnson, Silvers Linder, Mr. Williams, Akanfo, Yahoo, and everyone who stopped by and participated in the chat and left a like. And who stuck through, because honestly, I suspect because I am like ill, my mind is all over the place. I've been rambling a lot, talking all over the place, like a complete insane victim, like I am, but even more so than usual. So I appreciate folks, sticking with us, and I will see you all next week. Maybe I want to be able to do a rips tomorrow, but I will see if I could do a solo, or if folks would like to participate. But I would like to do that tomorrow because no plantation work for a majority of us. So thanks for your audience. In regards to the closing comments, Race Code War, like SB said, please buy this book. And also, if you guys want CRWS to do a decoding of a film, just comment, hey, y'all should decode insert film, and I'll think about decoding it, because most of the things I decode just gets recommended by books, or I'll just get an idea to watch the film to decode it. But yeah, I like to do more decodings because it is a great exercise, and it could be used to reach more victims. So yeah, Kyrie and Heroes, Race Code War, must read. Please go to producejustice.com to also get your hands on the United Independent Compensatory Code System concept by Neely Floyd Jr. Thanks for tuning in with us, and I'm CRWS signing out.